What if the very people we call lazy are actually the ones who understand life as deepest philosophy? Think about it. Society praises those who grind endlessly, who sacrifice sleep, health, and joy at the altar of ambition. But the ancient philosophers, from the Stoics to Aristotle, from Nietzsche to modern existential thinkers, all asked a dangerous question. What if endless striving is not wisdom but madness? The lazy, ambitious man is a paradox that terrifies society. He wants greatness, but he refuses to chase it in the ways everyone expects. He has ambition, but also the audacity to pause, to reflect, to reject the hamster wheel most of us are trapped in. And in doing so, he exposes a truth philosophy has been whispering for centuries. Perhaps true ambition is not about climbing higher, but about questioning whether the ladder is even leaning on the right wall. And here's the challenge. If you watch until the end, you'll discover why this archetype is not just a social misfit, but a living, breathing philosophical rebellion. Miss this, and you risk living your life chasing illusions. So the question is, are you brave enough to stay? At first glance, lazy and ambitious seem like opposites. Society says ambition means grinding, climbing the ladder, proving your worth. Laziness, on the other hand, is condemned as wasted potential. But what happens when someone combines the two? Imagine a man who has grand dreams, not just for money or fame, but for freedom, creativity, or living on his own terms. And yet, instead of blindly running the hamster wheel, he slows down. He chooses not to waste energy on meaningless busyness. He's ambitious, but selective. Lazy, but deliberate. This type of person threatens the core of our cultural myth, the idea that effort equals virtue. From childhood, we're taught, work hard, grind harder, and maybe eventually, you'll earn happiness. But the lazy, ambitious man quietly rejects this script. He says, why run endlessly if the race itself leads nowhere? This is not the laziness of apathy. It's the laziness of questioning, the refusal to sell one's soul to endless productivity. And that refusal forces society to confront an uncomfortable truth. Maybe ambition without reflection isn't noble at all. Maybe it's slavery. Society fears the lazy, ambitious man because he exposes the fragility of the rules we live by. If success isn't measured by hours worked, promotions earned, or wealth accumulated, then what is all of this struggle for? Philosophy gives us language for this fear. Nietzsche warned about the I heard mentality, the tendency to accept values handed down by society without question. The herd praises ambition only when it serves the system. More workers, more output, more consumption. But the moment someone steps back and says, I will not play by these rules, he becomes dangerous. The Stoics too recognize this tension. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that most of what people chase is worthless: reputation, possessions, approval. The man who is ambitious enough to want greatness but lazy enough to reject the crowd as definition of it, he reveals how fragile society's values really are. That is why he is mocked, called a slacker, branded a failure. Because to admit he might be right would mean questioning the entire meritocratic myth. But here's the twist. The lazy, ambitious man doesn't just unsettle society, he unsettles himself. His paradox is deeply personal. Ambition pulls him toward greatness, toward achievement, toward the desire to leave a mark. Laziness pulls him toward comfort, reflection, and the refusal to burn himself out for shallow rewards. These two forces clash within him like opposing magnets. Kierkegaard described this tension as the sickness unto death, the anxiety of being a self torn between infinite possibilities and finite limits. To want everything, yet resist the grind to get it. To dream of freedom, yet avoid the chains of ceaseless labor. Modern psychology gives it another name: cognitive dissonance, the discomfort of holding two opposing truths. The lazy, ambitious man knows he wants to achieve, but he also knows the standard path to success feels meaningless. And so he hesitates, he waits, he plots quietly. He endures the mockery of others because deep down, he senses that his paradox hides a deeper wisdom. Philosophers throughout history have wrestled with this paradox. The Stoics taught that ambition without wisdom is like steering a ship without a compass. Better to be lazy in the eyes of society and contemplate what is truly worth pursuing than to waste your life chasing illusions. Aristotle argued that leisure, schole, was not wasted time, but the foundation of philosophy itself. Civilization, he said, advances not because people work endlessly, but because they pause to reflect, to create, to imagine. Nietzsche admired those rare individuals who had the courage to stand apart from the herd, even if they seemed idle or eccentric. For him, true ambition was not about wealth or titles, but about the creation of new values, something impossible without stepping back from the crowd. Even modern thinkers echo this. Psychologists warn of burnout, of the emptiness of always-on culture. Economists speak of diminishing returns. After a point, more work doesn't mean more value. Sometimes stepping back, appearing lazy, is the only way to see clearly. So how should we see the lazy, ambitious man? Not as a contradiction, but as a mirror. His laziness is not weakness, it's resistance, a refusal to blindly follow. His ambition is not greed, it's longing for something more meaningful than status or money. In truth, the lazy, ambitious man forces us to ask, what is ambition for? If it's only about proving ourselves to others, then maybe laziness is the most honest response. But if ambition is about aligning with what matters, truth, beauty, freedom, wisdom, then laziness becomes a kind of discipline, a refusal to waste life's short span on hollow pursuits. So why does society fear the lazy, ambitious man? Because he breaks the spell. He reveals that the endless race might not be worth running. He shows that ambition can be redirected, away from status, toward meaning, away from grinding, toward creating, away from blind obedience, toward true freedom. And maybe that's what terrifies people most, the possibility that they've been climbing a ladder leaning against the wrong wall. The next time you see someone who seems lazy, ask yourself, are they wasting their life, or are they refusing to waste it? Are they aimless, or are they ambitious in a way that challenges the very foundations of society's values? That is the paradox, and that is the danger. Because the lazy, ambitious man is not society's failure. He might be its wake-up call. If this exploration of philosophy and ambition spoke to you, don't just scroll away. Subscribe, share this with someone stuck in the grind, and keep watching, because in the videos ahead, we'll dive deeper into Stoicism, existentialism, and the philosophy of meaning. Until then, ask yourself, what kind of ambition are you truly chasing?